Happy Halloween, pals! Spooky season is once again upon us, and the warrior himself has a list for you. As much as I love Halloween and the aesthetic, not a lot of stuff actually scares me, when it should. This list of scariest things in video games probably won't contain the things you expect. Why? When playing horror games, I expect to be scared, so when it actually comes, I normally just stare. But when I see nightmare fuel in my Sonic game, yeesh! So yeah, actual horror games might get the short end of the Snickers bar in this video. This list is based on my own experiences, and will take into account characters, cutscenes, levels, gameplay features, or even an entire game if applicable. So a spoiler warning is in order. Lastly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but viewer discretion is advised. Don't blame me if you get any nightmares from this list. It is time. Let's do this thing! Fear can come from many places. What we already know, what we don't know, or experiences we've had but never want to have again. But sometimes you fear something not because of what it is, but because of what it means. Gotta love that foreshadowing. Every Sonic player on the face of existence can relate to this one. You're going through the game's water level attempting to have a good time, succeeding in some games, but you end up underwater long enough for... No! No! Get out there, Sonic! Save yourself! It's not so scary as it is stressful, but take this into account. Aquaphobia, the fear of water and or drowning, is much more common than it seems. Adding the suspenseful music and countdown really doesn't help, and some games have some much more anxiety-inducing themes like the adventure games and Rush. Thankfully, some Sonic games don't have water to worry about, thus no scary music. Heck, Sonic CD doesn't even have a theme, you just get the numbers. Weird. Wait, I wasn't complaining! Surface? Bubbles? Where are they? Typically, when you're afraid of something, you do whatever it takes to stay away from it. Sadly, some things can be inevitable. But tell me something. What if you could make the thing completely stop happening? But you have a deadline, say 3 days. You can't mask this type of fear. I like Majora's Mask a lot. But when I was younger, I would put off playing it. All because I looked up this video about top 10 game over screens and found this game and saw what happens if you fail your mission. Moon crashes into Termina, Link gets singed alive by the resulting flame wave, and the titular mask laughs at you while leaving you with its final words. That terrified me into not wanting to play the game, despite me having the physical copy and my Pikachu N64. I thankfully got over my fear and played the game, and enjoyed it. But that cutscene lives in my head rent-free during my adventures through Hyrule. Honestly, a good majority of the N64 classics could take a spot on here, as the creators of the games at the time weren't afraid to get risky. Looking at you, Rare.
When you get scared of something as a kid, it's kinda hard to forget it, and you grow apprehensive towards it, even if it seems silly. When I was 3, I got scared of the SpongeBob episode Pre-Hibernation Week, but nowadays I hate it for different reasons that I'll go over in some other video. The point is, people are too quick to point fingers at Mario 64's piano. I don't find these guys scary at all now, so why even put them here? Think about this. Little 5-year-old Alex playing his very first non-educational video game. I loved New Super Mario Bros. Still do. My trek through World 4 took an unsettling turn when I first encountered the balloon boos in the ghost house. The moment they appeared on screen, I was immediately freaked out. I was okay with the small boos. They were cute. But this... big, nearly blank expression, and fairly quick. But that wasn't the worst of it. Listen to the sound they make. Ugh. I went from being scared of to being scared for. They sounded like they were in pain and needed an outlet. I completed the stage and never looked back. Until I 100%ed my new copy. To answer those burning questions, I actually found the Killer 64 piano funny, and the Eel and Jolly Roger Bay nearly got on this list instead. Sushi, anyone? I ain't afraid no ghost. Yeah, you say that now, but what happens when you find out what the ghost is afraid of? Yeah, that's what I thought. There's a theory out there that suggests that our own fears and phobias are linked to how we died in a past life. If that's the case, I guess we can piece together why some ghosts are weak to dark in Pokemon.
I love Darkrai. It's a super cool Pokemon, but I hate whenever it gets called or casted as a villain. However, Black 2 and White 2 give a scarily good pace for it being just morally ambiguous. While crossing Marvelous Bridge, you may encounter this young girl, but... Huh? Oh, don't worry, she didn't fall, she was already dead. Wait, that's not good! The strange house is where the story begins to unfold. The ghost of the girl who lived here begins talking about a nightmare filled with pure darkness, wishing to see her parents and her beloved Abra. That's so sad.
There's more. No.
You'll spot her again, and she'll say that in her nightmare, her dad was telling her to leave the Lunar Wing behind and stay with him.
Lunar Wing? What's that?
A special item said to spawn Cresselia, a Pokemon that repels nightmares. Of course a nightmare version of somebody would want it gone. Darkrai did this, no doubt. But why? In any case, who knew nightmares could be so dangerous? Literally scared the poor girl to death. Guess Dream Eater and the Bad Dreams ability aren't just for Pokemon to suffer through. Took us long enough, but we're now at an actual horror game. Resident Evil 4 is widely regarded as fantastic, and I ain't arguing. However, being a survival horror, there are plenty of spooky elements. Zombies? Yes. Sea terrors? Mm-hmm. But the one here is one I know CJ relates to. Heck, he put these guys on a list all his own. Now it's my turn to talk about RE4's Regenerators. Man, Slenderman's seen better days. Human experimentation. The moment I say those words, horrible images start flooding your mind, am I right? These enemies were once human. The shape makes it unsurprising, but what they were made to do is pretty interesting and terrifying. These experimental bioweapons, known as Regenerators, are some of the most resilient enemies ever programmed. True to their name, they can heal and regenerate wounds or even entire body parts. Sounds cool, right? Not if you're the one fighting it! Unless you have a thermal scope and rifle, your best bet is shooting its body as much as possible and praying it falls over before it can grab you. And believe me, these things have been training under Melee Marth and will grab you and tear your face off if you aren't quick enough. The design alone is noteworthy. 7 feet tall with that face? Ahem. Get me out of here! Choices can make or break the very life we live. Responsibility can be a scary thing within itself. Thankfully, that is slightly numbed in video games. I say slightly because of the existence of bad endings. Some are just sad, others are underwhelming. Sonic 2 is better than the good ending, but Cuphead gives you something else. When you encounter the devil before his fight, you're given the choice to either give him the contracts as promised, or say no and fight him. Refuse him, and you get to fight a really fun final boss. If you say yes, you just sealed your and all the debtors in Inkwell Isle's fates. Whoa! That is insanely unsettling. Cuphead and Mugman are just kids. Now they're pawns to the devil, and corrupted pawns at that. This may be one screen, but it tells you more than you want to know. Even then, what it doesn't tell is even scarier. Every single debtor boss you fought, what happens to them? What happens to King Dice? How would Elder Kettle take it? Scary thoughts fill your head, like water in a mug. Maybe Delicious Last Course will solve all of this when it comes out, if it comes out! Oh hey, it's a hat in time. Is this an Alex S. Warrior video? I bet you're wondering what could possibly be scary in this game. It's so freaking cute. Well, lean close and keep the lights on. During the SUBCON Forest chapter, the Snatcher needs you to get some treasure from Queen Vanessa's manor, never telling us that the whole manor has no manners. Unless you used to skip like a coward, you know darn well why this is here. It's all fine at first, but once you enter the hallway from the cellar... Mommy, look at Hat Kid when she's hiding under stuff in the manor. She is terrified, and given what happened to those caught by the Queen, you do not blame her. Speaking of the Queen, red glowing eyes are already a nope from me, Chief. But she'll stop at nothing to find and catch you. And if she does catch you, you can sometimes hear Hat Kid say, "Goodbye, cruel world."
Goodbye, cruel world.
Ugh, that's heart-wrenching. The rest of the mansion revolves around dodging and playing around Vanessa's weird AI, and even deliberately walking into a room she's already in to claim a key and your ticket out. You may not have picked up on it, but I absolutely love this chapter. Easily the coolest part of today's list.
Stupid.
Yeah, fair enough. Bet you never expected me to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's of all series. Yes, it's a horror game, but the only scary parts people care about are the jump scares, and those aren't even real scares. It's just cheap. However, the lore behind the characters gives me chicken skin, and I haven't even been stuffed in a Chica costume. The most popular ones to talk about in this type of video are Purple Guy and the Marionette. That's all fine and dandy, but how about the real tortured soul? Yikes, even the name clues you into what this thing's been through. Originally being a new version of Foxy, it was introduced to any toy's worst nightmare. Ornery children. Ornery. Dialect is weird, okay? After every shift, the workers had to fix Toy Foxy because the ankle biters kept destroying the poor guy, using new parts, recycled parts, anything until they eventually gave up and tried marketing it as a take apart and put back together toy called the Mangle. That alone is sad and terrifying, especially since we know what happens inside an animatronic suit, meaning kids like toddler-age kids could get exposed to that. The really bad part? Mangle knows it's in utter disrepair. You can even hear it in its voice. I've never been so scared of something I felt so bad for. Well, I ain't going anywhere near it. The Mangle still deserves all my sympathy. What good are words when a smile hides it all? A visual novel on this channel? Watch it, pal. This ain't your average dating sim. I would know, and so does she. Monica is honestly one of the scariest characters to me from any form of media. Running the titular club, she seems so honest when you first lay eyes on her. The popular kid that just wants some peace and quiet with the few folks that are actually friends with her. Looks are deceiving, my friends. After the incident with Sayori and the game resetting, you tend to notice little things about the game, world, and characters. But specifically Monica. While everything else is going downright insane, Monica still remains the same on the surface. However, look harder. Ever notice how things always went how she wanted them to go? Or that she could just break the fourth wall whenever? It's like she knew she was in the game. Very astute of you. After Yuri's incident, Monica deletes the other two character files left to finally get alone time with the player. Let that sink in. She downright deletes the people she considered friends just because she had a crush on a human player. Not only that, but she directly messed with the mental health of the three other girls in the club, giving Sayori depression, which led to that, and Yuri getting joy from self-harm and wanting your love no matter what it took. Natsuki was the only one not mentally struck, but had her own words changed to fit Monika's twisted fantasy. Monika was pulling the strings the entire game just to get with you. That's insane! Also, remember this part where you thought your computer actually blue-screened? That was an attempt to escape into the real world. Monika is one of the most twisted and criminally insane characters I've ever seen. Cunning, deceptive, obsessive, and willing to do whatever it takes to get her way. Well, that's the video. Alex? There's still one more? Remember how in Cuphead your choice affects how the ending plays out? Well, Oddworld kind of invented that. Ever since Abe's Oddysee for the PS1. If you didn't save enough of your pals, you ain't getting that happily ever after you love so much. And of all the games to do this, none have resonated with me more than Munch's Oddysee. Can you say actual nightmares? This silly 3D puzzle platformer ain't messing around with that karma system. What goes around, comes around. Saving your friends alright? Good for you. You get what might be my favorite ending cutscene in any game. What's that? Bad karma. You're at the loading dock? Sweet lord, no. After your fuzzy little buddies turn on you for realizing you neglected them the whole game, they kill Abe. Yeah, just start with my favorite character. That's fine. I don't mind or anything. That's nothing compared to what poor Munch is in for. Again, don't blame me if you can't sleep tonight.
Transplant as soon as you're available. Wonderful. See you then. Surprise!
They thankfully don't show what happens, but dear God, what's this game rated again? That checks out. This gets even worse when you remember that Munch was the last of his kind, from endangered to extinct, just so their stupid queen can have new lungs. This gave me actual nightmares when I saw it, once the first time, and again when I watched it again for this video. From the doctors from hell and their Swiss Army torture knife, and the look of pure horror on Munch's face. Well, I ain't sleeping tonight, and neither are you. I'm Alex S. Warrior.
Happy Halloween and stay safe out there.